Hey.
Georgia,
Hi.
Georgia.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How are your kids?
Everybody's doing well. I'll make sure I tell them you said hello.
Dad said he misses you.
Tell Dad I miss him too, man. I hope
Yeah.
everything can clear up and I can come back over and visit.
Yeah, hopefully. Or we'll come visit you.
Hey, that'll work too.
I'd
That'll work.
love that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What you got going on?
Not much. School goes back on Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got school, so
All right.
yeah. All right.
All
Well,
right.
I'll join. Hope you're safe, okay?
Sounds good.
All right.
Good seeing you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. What's going on, beautiful people? Oh, hold on. We got a view. We got sent you. All right. Mm. Hello? Hello? Profanity
Hi,
Nation. What's
sorry,
that?
I'm just like really in awe right now. Like
Why?
I've been watching you since I was like really young.
Oh, that's what's up. How are you?
Oh my gosh, thank you. I'm like really in awe.
Huh? All right. Well, she left. It's all good. Hey, Profanity Nation. Hold on. I gotta grab something real quick. Hold on real quick. Much love to everybody. Vicky, it's all good. I don't know what happened. But it's all good. So I hope everybody been doing well. Um, just trying to see real quick while I'm getting this stuff, man. Let me know what y'all want to talk about this evening. And Profanity Nation, I hope y'all looking. You know what I'm saying? I actually wore my yellow joint last night. Got a good workout in, but just wanted to show y'all some love, man. Make sure y'all check them folks out. So anyway, Adam, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How are you? Destiny, you sure did. Body by Fee was happening, good people. Mike, what's up? Heavenly 72 was happening. Tay was happening. Everybody on here was happening. What y'all want to talk about, man? I miss the Kings too. We used to sing the good song. The Kings are having a party. And throw them folks in the bin. Hold on, man. We ain't got that boy D Jack. Hold on. Bless. Gabrielle, what's happening? Or Gabriel, I'm sorry. I apologize. I ain't trying to mess nobody's name up. Mamba forever, absolutely. It's a crazy week, man. Had to show Big Dog some love. Man, he get love all the time, but I know yesterday, Dr. Foster is in the building. What's going on? Um, it's just crazy. Like my birthday was on Monday, and then Tuesday was the yeah, doctor, we gotta give you your blessings. Or your roses, excuse me. Um, how am I after I'm heavy. I'm heavy. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the the passing of Kobe and Gigi and just the whole situation, it brings heaviness for uh it brings heaviness for good reason. Um, and it's crazy because you don't never want to see anybody lose their life, no matter when, what, where, how. But um, as a father, you know what I'm saying, because he passed with his daughter at the same time. It's just heavy. And I know I spoke about it on the on Reach Radio yesterday. Just the reason why it's even more so heavy is because there are a lot of men out there that are stand up guys that you know have the opportunity to be in their kids' lives, and for whatever reason, it's not working out. You know what I'm saying? When I say it's not working out, it's just from the standpoint of how the water, like how the seed is being watered, and the dads get a difficult. It's just a difficult time for them to be in relationship with their kids. And I'm not saying this with everybody, because there are some dads that are shitty dads because they don't take care of their responsibilities. They're not interested in spending time or doing anything like that. But there are a lot of fathers who want to spend time with their kids. They want to be a part of the process, and a lot of that stuff is blocked. You know what I'm saying? And Cove is a guy, man. He's not gonna be able to, just like a lot of dads who lost their lives young, or whatever the case may be. It's like he ain't gonna be able to walk his daughters down the aisle. He ain't gonna be able to watch her get dressed for prom. He ain't gonna be able to have those talks about life and boys, and be there and through ups and downs like he had been previously before. And for those kids, the daughters or the sons, you know what I'm saying? They're not able to get that structure. They're not able to get that leadership, that the other side of things. And that's important, man. And listen, man, I'm not saying that mothers are not important. They are. You know what I mean? I give women their roses all day long, because a lot of women do step up to the plate. A lot of women take care and do the men and the female role, depending on the situation. You know what I'm saying? They a lot of us were raised by single parent households, single moms that stepped up to the plate. But there's a narrative going on, because you know what I'm saying, a lot of women that's raising these kids nowadays is by choice, because they're blocking the fathers for being in their life. You know what I mean? So it's just heavy, man, when I think about Cove, when I think about Gigi. I also think about the other 7 that were lost. But I only knew Cove and Gigi. And I just think it's unfortunate, man, that what a lot of men go through. I have these conversations all the time. A lot of guys that I know that I'm cool with, or just some that I might meet or just talk to on social media, that go through these rough times, man, and it's unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all about. We're gonna talk about it, Destiny. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? We could do that. But it's all about. I think we've missed the mark, man, and feeling like these kids just need one parent, and that's not true. You know what I'm saying? If you got people that are willing, let them folks get involved. And people getting drugged through the mud, man. Like, the hell with the money, man. Like, the money ain't gonna be able to handle everything. Whenever you're able to give your time and be present, that's the most important thing. And I think that this day and age, man, the focus is so much on the money, and we're losing our kids. And it's like nobody giving a fuck, like, for real. You know what I'm saying? But because it's like they have all the nice things, or they're able to live a certain way, but then your kid's a shitty ass human being. You feel me? Like, they're following in the footsteps of the people who raised them. So we got to figure out a way to break those generational curses and stop all this unnecessary foolishness and raise good quality human beings. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to get back to that. So at the end of the day, like, that's what, when I think about Cove and that whole thing, man, it's like I think about everything as a whole. You know what I mean? And I just don't like the narrative, man, especially in the black community. You know what I'm saying? We get shitted on as fathers all day long. You know, it's all about come to the table, put up the bread, this, that, and the third. But shit, you pay the money, you can't even see your kid. You know what I'm saying? You pay the money, you can't even get time. You pay the money, you know what I'm saying? You can't even get a call back or a text. And you know, it's a long list of things that's going on, man. And then also too, man, to the kids, like y'all, eventually, man, they got to get to the point where y'all, you know, the kids got to stop believing everything that they hearing or what they being told, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of parents, you know what I'm saying, whether it's the women or the men, man, make sure, you know what I'm saying, you stand on your truth and don't allow that foolishness to go on, because I know a lot of times we out here trying to, you know, save face for the other parent, man, and we're getting drugged through the mud. Bump that. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that's gonna set anybody free is the truth. And it's so crazy these days that even the truth, man, look funny to folks when they ain't used to it. So we got to break all that. Let's see who's gonna jump in. I had to figure it out for myself. When I got older, everything my mother said wasn't true about my dad. Shit, let's talk about it then. Um, oh, here we go. My dog strong. We start strong today.
No, just piggyback off of what you were saying, you know, as far as kids not believing everything that their parents were saying. Myself, I came from a single household. I have a great mom. She was a single parent for me and my brother, my older brother, and we had everything that we needed and the things that we wanted. But there would be times where, you know, she would speak negative about my father because my dad, he wasn't like, he would just pop up whenever he wanted to show up. He says he was paying child support. I never saw a dime. But my mom would, I didn't like the negative things she would say about him, right? But, you know, me being a kid is only, you can't say anything, you can't really do anything. But as I got older, I started having these conversations, these difficult conversations with my father and asking him those hard questions, like, why weren't you there? You know, it'd be times where, you know, because I'm from the country, it'd be times where I know that he would always pop up on a random Sunday in the evening. And because he would come on a Sunday, so I figured maybe he gonna pop up the following Sunday. So I'm outside waiting by the end of the road for my dad to pop up and he don't never show up. Like, that's sad, right? My mom having to tell me to come inside because I got to go to school the next day. But having that conversation with my dad and just finding out why he wasn't there, a lot of the time was my mom just kind of blocking him from wanting to be there, making it because my dad, I have twin brothers. I'm the baby girl. I have 3 older brothers. 2 of them are twins. And so as I got older, I realized it had to be difficult for my dad to try to be a father to 2 households, being away from his twin boys and then having to be there for me and then being there for my older brother, because he had been in my older brother who I share a mom with, he had been in his life since he was 6 weeks old. So that's, you know, he had his own father, but my dad was more of a father to my brother than he was for me. He was around longer for him than me. And so just asking him the difficult questions and him explaining that it was just hard. And I had a lot of resentment towards my dad. I remember going off to college and playing ball and just, I don't want to say hating, but just disliking my dad. Like, why wasn't he there? Why, you know, but then I realized a lot of kids I went to school with didn't even know who their father were. So I had to kind of appreciate that I did know who my dad was. I looked just like him. I walked like him. It's weird. Um, but just figuring out that he just really didn't know how to be a dad to 2 households. And it was some areas where my mom made it difficult for him to be a father to me. And I'm not angry for her. She did the best that she could. She probably didn't know how to be, and, you know, and letting him go so he could try and figure things out within himself and his personal life. Um, but once I got that difficult conversation out of the way with my father, me and my dad have the best relationship. Some things I can talk about to him that I can't even talk to my mother about, you know. We have the best relationship. We don't get to choose our parents. It's what we do when we figure out how to build onto that relationship, because there's a lot of people who, again, don't have that relationship with their parents or father, you know. And it is important. I think it's important for every daughter to have their father in their life. My mom was a great mom, but it's, you know, she tried to say things that a man probably would say to his daughter, you know, but it's nothing like having the love from your father and the attention from your father, you know. It's
So
just totally different.
Right. I got a couple questions, and I'm trying to make sure I don't forget none of them. First question is how long did it take for you to get on a better page and in a better space with your father?
Again, probably my sophomore year in college. Like I really started talking to him my freshman year in college more and more often, like calling him, you know, being homesick. Because I talk to my mom, it's weird. I talk to my mom every day, multiple times a day. But my dad, I would talk to him like once or twice a week, or when I would be on road trips for away games and stuff. But really, it was my sophomore year in college, and it just kind of grew from there. And I had to learn to forgive my father, because I was having all this so much anger. It was affecting me because he wasn't missing no sleep at night. That was something that I had to work on within myself, and just really truly forgive my father and ask God to give me the strength to really truly forgive my father, because I didn't want to carry around that energy with me.
So how long up until that point was the relationship, I guess, kind of strained? You know what I'm saying?
So it was strained from the time I was probably 10, no, probably about 12 or 13 when I started like seriously playing basketball. Because my mom, she would send me to basketball camp every summer. Like I went to like big camps like University of Tennessee, University of Alabama, you know, meeting the head coaches and stuff like that. And my mom would every summer when it would come time for basketball camp, my mom would tell me that like, know, it's time for her to go to camp. Like, are you going half on camp, or like what you gonna do? And he would say things like, it's like he didn't believe in me the way my mom did. But my mom was always there. She saw the gift in me, right? He didn't know. He never came. He never came to a game. He only came to my high school graduation. And so my dad would say things like, I'm not paying for her to go to basketball camp. She can go in the backyard and play with her brothers. Like he would say stuff like that. But then I say probably by the time I was probably like 15, he started at least buying like the equipment and stuff like sneakers, clothes, and stuff like that I needed for camp, because it was overnight camp like for a week. He started doing little stuff like that, but me out of spite, because I ain't gonna say I didn't like him, because I always loved my dad and had that desire to want my dad around, but I would be like a brat when it came to him, because my mom spoiled us. So like, for example, a funny story. So like he and his wife tried to take me to and I know this is gonna sound so stupid, but they tried to take me to like JC Penney to get sneakers from out of there, like some regular Nikes. Me being a kid, I'm used to wearing Jordans and stuff like that, and I acted out. I was like, I'm not wearing that. Mom doesn't buy me that. Like I don't wear that. And so his wife, she was just like, whatever. She pretty much would give me whatever I want. She was like, no, let's just go down to Foot Action. And I would go in and pick out joints that dropped that day. You know, like just little petty stuff like that as a child. Being angry towards my dad.
So it's like two things, right? Is one part is and again, there's no knock to you. I'm just trying to share with people because it's like even when folks is trying, they still could be wrong. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? The thing that I wanted to point out was the fact of from 12 years old to you 19, 20, you can't get those 8 years back.
Nope.
And that's the part that I'm trying to explain, like, because I know other people, man, that are still adults who still ain't forgave the dad for whatever they could have been told. Or even when it's sometimes, you know what I'm saying, the mothers, you feel me? Like, I'm not trying to make it just like it's about fathers, but at the same time, man, I know that fathers go through their fair share.
Yeah.
Just trying to discuss that because it's a tough thing. So let me ask you this. What's more important to you, the money or the time?
The time. If you ask any child if they rather have the time or the money, they're gonna choose time. Time is priceless, you know?
But then there are some that these days that are being bought.
Yeah.
So like being bought. Like for example, you just gave an example of you know what I'm saying, the fact that your dad was trying, but it wasn't necessarily good enough. You know
No.
what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So that's why I was saying like you're much more mature in your walk. You know what I mean? And a lot of people can't recognize that. There's still grown ass women these days that are being bought because of stuff that happened in their childhood.
Yeah.
You feel me? It's the same in the sense from grown ass men who feel like that's the way to treat a woman because of things that, you know, how they're brought up or things that they're taught, and it happens early on in age. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And it's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? So we're losing our kids, we're losing our generation, we're losing so many different things because of the wrong ideals, the wrong morals and principles and values. Like, it's all effed up. You know what I'm saying? And it's not getting any easier. It's not getting any better. Like, especially during this time right now, we should value the time, you know, that we're able to spend with one another and be present. You know, this pandemic is making us shift our minds, you know, and it should be making us open up our minds to more things that are important, more
Yeah.
things that are valuable. But I just ask that because, again, so many kids who are angry, and rightfully so. I get it. You don't know what to believe. You don't know who to believe. But I always ask, like, at what point do you get to a certain point where you start asking yourself certain things? Because I know kids wouldn't like it if people were talking about them.
Yeah.
Kids wouldn't like it if people are lying on them. Kids don't like it, blah, 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 blah. But then at what point does that switch click where you start to say, well, let me ask this question because this doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
that's what happened with me. Like, the things just, again, my mom would implant these seeds in my head as a child, speaking against my father. But as I got older enough to have my brother take me to my father's house, or when I could drive myself to see my dad and spend that time, but still not asking those questions, those hard questions, until college, and being ready to hear those answers. Because I didn't want to walk around carrying that baggage, because I didn't want to be that woman. I didn't want to just keep, I wanted to break the cycle, right? Like, why bring my daddy issues into any relationship that I'm in, right? I don't want to be that. I never wanted to be that person or that woman.
That's dope. That's dope, Queen. I appreciate you sharing, man. It's a lot going on, but it's a great conversation. You feel me? So appreciate it.
Not a problem. You have a good night and happy belated birthday.
I appreciate that. Blessings. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right. Love. Who else we gonna pick on today? I think Shanita done took off. Who else we got here? I see Ivy. Okay. Sis done jumped on. She probably done jumped out, though. Let's see here. Miss Destiny. Hold on. Hold on. I'm hitting the wrong thing. Boop.
What it do, Josh?
Probably gonna pick up. What's happening?
What's going on?
So much, man. Let's play this thing.
It's hot in my office tonight, so I got all these lights off. But this is a great topic. I don't know why I felt myself tearing. I felt myself getting emotional from this topic, and I'm not an emotional person. I don't get emotional, whatever. But my thing is, from being a parent that had to raise her children because their father wasn't there. He committed suicide when they were 6 and 8. So it's just been like a spiral. So let me just say this: parents, before you want the money, the relationship is more important. I would give anything right now for my children to have their father. And just to hear my 18-year-old like, Mom, it's just certain stuff that I don't want to talk to you about. I need my dad. We had that conversation like 2 weeks ago. We had that conversation, and we were young when we got married. I was 24, he was 26, and so we already had our kids, whatever the case may be. And married, he committed suicide. So my prayer has always been, God, send a father to help me to raise my children, to help with the children, because I understood how important it was. But even in the beginning stages of the marriage, like when he stepped out, I never cared about the money. I was like, I used to take my children to his girlfriend's house where he was living with the girlfriend while we were still married. That's how adamant I was about, I don't care about the money. I don't really care about the money. Spend time with your kids. So I never took out child support. I did it on my own. Like, that woke up a whole different hustle in me. And now that I look back, I'm grateful that I never put money over the relationship that they had with their dad. Like, bruh, just spend time with your kids.
Now,
Just spend
I
time.
do want to say this to clear it up for people, because I know it's gonna be somebody that's gonna say some shit. That doesn't mean that the money part is not important. It is
Right,
important. You got to take care of your kids. They got to have a roof that is. I know that's not what you're saying. That ain't
right,
what I'm getting at. I got to clear that up. You know what I'm saying? But I just want to point out the fact that there's more of an emphasis. And then it's like, even if you do handle that part, you still don't have total access to your kids. So the fact that you're sharing, regardless of what
regard.
your situation is, that was your choice. You understood what was most important in the situation. You know what I'm saying? We're not diving into the ins and outs to the other part of
Right.
it. But you definitely, from what I'm hearing, sounds like you was taking the time and making the effort to make sure that both of you, uh, had that relationship and the access in their lives.
Absolutely. And I feel like now we're living off of the seeds. Like, we are the generation that's living off of the seeds from our parents withholding us from the other parent. I thank God that I have both of my parents or whatever. My mom was crazy. My mom was crazy. She liked to fight, all of that stuff. She liked to shoot and all of that stuff. So I'm grateful that even when my dad wasn't there, his family was. Like, I used to go spend time with my dad's family. So I grew up closer to my dad's family versus with my mom's family. But another point that I wanted to make up, sometimes the men are being put in positions where they're just not mentally able to handle it. Some, like, in real life, there are some good dads out here, but it's some dads out here that's pedophiles. One of my friends wrote a book about her dad, like her dad molesting her. So I wanted to make that point. Sometimes your mom could be bitter and angry, but other times, listen, it's for the best. Sometimes your mom snatched you away from your dad because of the things that was going on in his life, the things that was going on behind the scenes. So it really takes two whole and healthy adults to co-parent. To co-parent.
I'm what's crazy, right? So I was watching a clip on Instagram, and it was 50 Cent, and he was talking about his relationship with I think it's his oldest son.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, not kind of. I guess it's a really bad situation. Like, oldest son don't fool with him at all. But he just talked about the fact that, like, how the sea was getting watered. It was so bad and so strenuous, and regardless of anything, like, I guess he paid the whole child support in like one check, like, just took care of it, like, done. But he was just like, man, I don't fool with homes. Like, don't care to have a relationship, no nothing. Especially now, I guess, he's a grown man. I guess his son is like 23 or 24, however old he is. But I say that to say, like, because I'm open minded, and again, I don't. That's not me saying that I feel that it is okay. That's just me saying that I can understand the mindset behind some fathers who just want to say fuck it because of how much that they go through and how
Mm-hmm.
hard it is to have the relationship.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like they're not getting anywhere. You can have all the talks, you can try to spend time, you can try to buy, you can try to do whatever it is that you do. And sometimes with some of these kids, man, they not trying to hear it. That seed has already been planted how it is, and it's just growing.
And that's what I said. And that's what I said too in the earlier, in one of the comments. I was like, that seed is being watered, especially if they live with the mother or the dad, whichever parent they live with. You got to think about, sometimes the woman is so bitter and so angry about what happened with the dad. Even if you had contact with the dad, it's almost like you with the ops, like you part of the ops. So if you go to your dad's house, you have a good time, like when you come back, it's gonna be pure hell for the child. So you came back acting just like your dad, or acting just like your people. And then so the parent, the living parent, like they make the kids suffer for going to the other parent's house to have a good time and to spend time with them. So don't even come back home and act like you had a good time. Act like you had a better life on that side than you did over here. Go to your room. I'm taking your game. So the bitterness begins to spill over into the children. So as a child, I'm going to get on board with mama so I can keep my game, so I can keep all of my stuff, so my mom don't holler at me, so my mom ain't going upside my head. I'm a side with my mom. Like I'm a literally side with mom to hate my dad, even though I know my dad is a good dude.
You know what? You know it's important because a lot of men, some of the men that's on this live or whatever, I'm gonna post this afterwards for somebody to hear it, man, because the fact that you as a woman are speaking that is just important, because I think a lot of men, like, even though I understand that, right, I'm still human. I still have days where I'm like, man, fuck that. That shit's stupid. Because when I was a child, I grew up how I grew up. I was the one asking questions because I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Like, I had a whole bunch of shit that I was dealing with, but I just don't understand. Like, I do understand, but I think that a lot of men need to hear like what you're saying so they can understand, and maybe that can better help them move around or do things a certain way, or just change their mindset when it comes to the relationship with their kids and everything else. What would be advice you would give to men who are in difficult situations that are trying to figure out the best way to go about having a better relationship? Kids, obviously. But then what do you think is some good advice to have a better relationship with the moms to hopefully make the relationship better when it comes with the kids?
That's a good goal, Josh. That's a good question. So the first thing is, as a man, do whatever it is that you can do, that you can possibly do, even if it's in moderation. You making sure you slip in the Christmas cards, you making sure that you send in the gifts. Even, let's just say, if you gotta send a singing telegram or a private box from someone special. When the kid grows up, they'll understand that was dad. That was me the whole time. That was me sending and making the effort to grow the relationship with you, but it was your mom. So when they grow up, they'll understand that, listen, it really wasn't my dad. So you do whatever you have to do to do your part, especially legally. Do your part. You're supposed to be helping out, child support, all of that stuff. Do what you got to do on that end. Do what you got to do. And I will say this, above everything, my first husband, we were friends first. Above everything, we were friends first. And it takes two grown people to make the decision that these kids come first. But let me put the baby daddies up on game. When you send money to your child, sometimes you just gotta slide. Sometimes you gotta slide the baby mama, slide her the nail money. Listen, we ain't together, but I still respect you enough. Like, go to the spa, like every now and then. You don't have to do it all the time. Just let them know that you still value them, even though y'all are not together. Some of them, you won't be able to do that because they're still living off of the narrative and the vision that they had in their mind. We are trained from little bitty girls to play house. So while y'all are playing with dump trucks and cars, we are literally learning how to birth a baby and to build a house. So we have this whole facade that we're supposed to be happily married, happily ever after. So when that vision goes to hell in a basket, guess what? They still have that narrative and they're upset that it didn't go that way. So some women, you won't be able to do that. You just have to pick and choose your battles. But sometimes you just got to let them know, like, listen, we're not enemies. We're not enemies. Listen, go to the spa. Like, you good. Go to the spa. Chill out. Go get your nails done. Let them know that I understand that you got a lot on your plate, but
So,
we still got to co-parent.
so what is your advice to women who are upset with the men as a partner, right? You're upset with him as a partner, but how do you elevate him as a father?
You're upset with him as a partner, but how do you?
So I where I'm going with that is I literally created a hoodie, right?
Uh-huh.
And it says, a bad partner does not equal a bad dad. And a
That's good.
lot of women, you see what I'm saying? So a lot of women are treating men as such because just because you may not have agreed with him as a partner, that doesn't take away from the type of dad he is, the type of father he is, the type of father figure, whatever. And it's a lot of that going on. So that's why I was saying to you, because I understand that women are upset, right? You don't fool with Holmes because he did this, did that. But what would be some advice you would give? Because of the bigger picture, again, is it goes back to the kids. It's all about raising them and making sure that they're okay. Because you
Oh,
got to remember, the reason I'm saying that to you is
yeah,
because, again, the women are the ones who mostly get the custody. They're going to have the kids most of the time.
right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
And you know, this is a narrative that's going on. You feel what I'm saying? They'll make
Yeah.
life hard because the partner aspect is not a part of the vision. So we as men, typically, we ain't on that. That doesn't mean that there aren't some that are out there that are on that.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't move that way. Like, we just, you know what I'm saying? We just want to be with our kids and just vibe. So that's why I'm asking from a woman's perspective.
The first thing I would say is heal. Sis, you gotta heal. Sober. Actually, I'm writing an ebook. Sober up, sis. Like, you gotta sober up and realize that just because he's not with you, that does not make him a bad dude. Just because he wasn't the one for you, that does not mean that he's not the one for somebody else. And that takes some mental growth. We got to grow up as women, and women are known to be real catty. And so whatever is going on within us, we tend to deflect on somebody else. We take it out on somebody else. So we have to grow up, number one. And it's some grown conversations that we have to have with the father of our children. Some people have kids thinking that it's going to hold the man, it's going to grab the man. It's not, sis. It's not. And so we need some of those hard truths to come forth. It's not going to keep a baby is not going to keep a man, and if the baby is here, we got to find a way to make a better life for our children. And this is what I say heal first, get your mind right, because if it didn't work out with you, why would you want to be with somebody? Why would you want to constantly drag somebody that's not for you? Why would you want to keep that negativity in your life? That stress, it causes sickness in your body. So I say, you get your mind right. Once you get your mind right, you like, you know what? It's about these kids, and I'm gonna live my life no matter what he does. And eventually, I'm gonna meet somebody that's gonna love me for me, even though it wasn't him. You get a whole different perspective. You get a whole different perspective. But sometimes we depend on people to heal us of things that only God can do.
Bless.
You know.
It's funny because I always hear all the time that, parents, mothers or fathers, throw us both in there, but we always talk about how we love our kids, right? We love them to death, but we're using them.
Oftentimes.
What form of love, and that's the thing. It's like, what form of love is that? You know what I'm saying? When you're willing to use these kids in the way that you're using
And the sad part is, Josh, is they do it all the time. I see it all of the time. But it's gonna take somebody has to heal. And until that person heals, like everything you do is like you're snatching the scab off of a wound, because it's something that they just haven't healed from. They don't have the gift of moving on. They don't have the gift of letting go. They don't have that gift. So it's gonna that's why these conversations are very important, that we have these conversations, that we bring it to the forefront. Like, listen, we know that it's going on. So now we know the problem. What are the solutions? What are the solutions when somebody is on a live and they're talking about this, and then you realize that subconsciously you've been doing this all along. You've been doing this very thing all along. You've been using the child as a pawn to actually get to the man. But until she heals, she's gonna be forever worrying about what you got going on, how you got it going on, or whatever the case may be. But as a woman that is taking time to heal, I'm going to say this, like, sis, you got to come out of that. You got to come out of that place, because you'll be forever miserable, chasing your tail, chasing a facade, chasing a relationship that was never meant to be.
You know what? People gonna keep chasing, Queen, because one thing I've learned in 2020, especially when we've been given the opportunity to do so, man, there's a lot of people that are doing the work.
Right.
There's a lot of people that are taking the time to love themselves, heal themselves, work on themselves, whatever category or however you want to talk about it. But then there's also the group of people who still won't face themselves, still doing the same thing, still, trying to flex or put on like they got it all together,
Right.
and we see you.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say, man. The folks that's putting in the work, they see you. And
Right.
don't trip, man. We all supposed to be in this thing together, man. I appreciate you, Queen. Always your perspective. I know you still working on some of them other topics, man. I still got a few, man. I just see some stuff tonight. I'm sure we'll probably go back and forth and message, but we're gonna have to save that one for the next time, man. Appreciate you though.
Definitely say that one. Thank you so much.
All right, appreciate you as always,
All
Queen.
right.
Thank you.
Have
All
a
right,
good night.
you too. Love. Good people, good people. Global Kid Media was happening. Everybody that's on here, man, we appreciate y'all just having a cool little conversation. Okay. Simply unfathomable. Bella. What's happening? Yeah, man, it's definitely a heavy topic, as always, because, I'm just tired of seeing a lot of parents continue to go through with the back and forth and not, really take the time to think about what the most important thing is. Because we gotta raise our generation up to be right. You know what I'm saying? We need leaders. We need people that, are open thinkers who educating themselves and all that, man. Definitely needed. So I don't know what you talking about, homie. But yeah. So appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. We got to continue to stay this course, man. And I know we started off talking about Cove, and just, how I felt about it, still feel about it. It's tough. And all the time, not only thinking about Kobe, I think about Andre Emmett, I think about Anthony Grundy, a few brothers of mine that, that passed, that got killed last year. It's crazy. Everybody was killed last year, some way, shape, or form. But it just saddens me that we're losing our young brothers, who are also, You know, like Kobe, for example, a husband and a father. AG was a father. Dre was a father. You know, we're losing, like our kids are losing their fathers from either, you know, being dead or locked up, you know what I mean? Or just simply being blocked. And we got to do better. You know what I mean? Like you know, if we're really putting the kids first, and if we love them the way that we say, then we'll be willing to do right by them. You know what I'm saying? Or just people in general. Um, the other thing I definitely want to touch on too is no matter what, uh, you know, I'll speak on our side first. You know, as fathers, you know what I'm saying? The mothers cannot be replaced. Like, that is what it is. So I do agree with the fact of making sure that we try to have the best relationships that we can have, try to have the healthiest relationships that we can have if you're not in the relationship with, you know, the mother of your kids. And to constantly try to work on that. Now, every situation is not going to be that, because some folks just ain't on that, and that's okay. You got to move and do what you feel is best. But if you can, try to make it, you know what I'm saying, as peaceful, and do what you can by them, and at the same time, it'll work in the kids, in the best interest of the kids. You know what I'm saying? So to lead by example, because it does take a village, man. These kids need both sides. And to you moms that are out there doing the bullshit, understand that fathers can't be replaced. You know what I'm saying? Like, let us do our part. Let us have those conversations. Let us spend time, you know, good quality time. You know what I mean? Like, we need to be able to have access to the kids all day, every day, period. Ain't no excuse behind it, no nothing. You know what I mean? Because, too, parenting is a hard job. And it's funny because a lot of moms that are tired, right? They don't feel like it. So mothers, you know what I mean, give the dads their time so they can get that in. And plus that gives you some time to recharge, because it's important. You know what I mean? It definitely works both ways, man. But stop fucking blocking us from being men and doing what we gotta do in our kids' lives. Period. I'm tired of having these conversations. You know what I'm saying, with other men. You know what I mean? Especially our black men, man. I'm tired of seeing this shit. I'm tired of having the conversations. I'm tired of listening to the frustration, all of that. You know what I mean? Because day in and day out, we getting blocked. We getting hated on. We getting this. We getting that, and it's not cool. You feel me? It's not cool. When all we want to do is just be there for our kids, man. You know what I'm saying? And be able to have a solid relationship without all that extra shit. You know what I mean? Like, we need, like, our kids need us. Our kids need us. Period. And it don't matter if somebody jump into a relationship or this, that, and the third, man. At the end of the day, the mom and the dad cannot be replaced, man. Let people do what they do. Stop trying to block. Stop trying to replace. There's a lot of women out here that's trying to replace dads. Don't do that, especially when you got somebody trying. You know, you heard Queen earlier, like hers, you know what I'm saying? He's not here anymore. That's a different situation. That's a different situation. You know what I'm saying? But if you got somebody that's there, let them folks do what they got to do. Stop with that bullshit, man. Let folks parent, let them folks, you know what I'm saying, have a relationship with their kids, man. It's all good. It's all love, man. It's about the kids. It ain't about me. It ain't about the other woman and whatever, you know what I'm saying? I'm just using an example. It ain't about us as men. It ain't about them as the woman. It's about the kids. They come first. And if they come first, like people say they come first, we shouldn't be having all this back and forth and this other BS. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't be letting courts decide who gets what and having to do all this kind of stuff. We should be able to have those conversations amongst each other and work it out when it's about the kids. So, you know, it says so much fun. People need to stop it. What you mean they need to stop it? What's up, Queen? What you on? And I do understand that there's that side of it too. You know what I'm saying? That was something that was talked about earlier. I'm not saying that it ain't no men out here that ain't on bullshit and that they not trying. I get that. But there's a lot of them that are out here and they are trying. So don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? We definitely gonna keep it transparent. But for most people, because there's more people that are trying versus those who aren't. So we just need to understand that, and that's my whole point. Is to oh, female needs to start. If you have a man trying to be grateful. Oh, okay. Salute, Queen. I dig it. In no way, shape, or form am I sitting up here trying to say it's any and everybody. I just hope that people understand that I'm saying like that these kids need both parties. They need to see healthy. They need to see what love looks like. And I'll say this, man, like you don't have to be together, right? You don't have to be in a relationship with the mother or the father of your kids in order to show your kids what love looks like, in order to show them what healthy looks like. That's not true. You don't have to do that. There's a lot of situations, there's a lot of other people who are raising their kids and they're on the same page, doing the right thing, thinking alike, and they're working together to have, amazing human beings that grow up into adults be put out into this world. So it doesn't have to be that narrative. And we got to understand that. Work together. Work together. Exactly. Ultimately, what you do with parents, it does. It does. And I appreciate everybody commenting, man, because, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's important. And I'm just tired of seeing these excuses, tired of being, hearing, a lot of the commentary and being a part of conversations, man, where it's this narrative. Not only I'm going to say this too, not only healthy co-parenting, but there's a lot of people who are parenting because they're in relationships and still on bullshit. Y'all underneath the same roof and can't get it together. Like we gotta stop. We gotta stop. We gotta stop, man. It's gotta be. That's why I put parenting and co-parenting because it works across the board. There are so many people who are in relationship who are fighting every day in front of their kids because they have different ideas, different ways of going about doing stuff when it comes to their kids. I'm not saying that everybody's going to always be on the same page or agree, but again, there is a healthier way that you can go about parenting and co-parenting together. If there's a disagreement, do that shit in your room or in the privacy or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it in front of the kids. Like it's just a way that we can go about doing stuff that is much healthier. You know what I'm saying? And it's a much better situation for the kids. We got to stop making excuses. We got to get away, from all of that, man, because it's lame as hell, and we sitting up here, losing our kids. We're losing our kids because us as adults we can't get right. Because us as adults, we so busy fighting with, you know what I'm saying, or trying to pick fights with the the other parent that we're losing sight of what we're supposed to be doing. And as everybody heard tonight, just like this, she just said it, you can't get time back. And there's a lot of people, this is one thing I do know, it's a lot of people on this live or maybe we got a friend or somebody that's living with regret because they didn't take the time to do what they needed to do. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people, man, that's burning bridges and killing relationships for no reason. And it shouldn't have to be that way. And that's the point of the conversation because we got to get off of that. So I ain't gonna keep going too long, man, but I appreciate y'all as always. We're gonna have these conversations way more often. Y'all make sure y'all say them topics, you know what I'm saying, get them on deck, and then we'll keep chopping it up. But love everybody, man. Rest in peace to everybody who lost somebody. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all checking on each other. Y'all have a good night. Love.